in.
I miss you, and I'm so sorry.
Were you a fan of Blink-182?
Oh, dude, I love Blink.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude, Blink is really good. I know I shouldn't like them, probably,
Well,
because...
you're too young for them, aren't you?
No. Maybe, but like Blink also has that vibe that guys like me like, where it's not rap, but it's still not like...
What about Limp Bizkit? Do you ever listen to Limp
No,
Bizkit?
I've never listened to Limp Bizkit.
It's a good name, though.
Welcome to the stream.
Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Matt Fradd. This over here is Thursday, and we're here to do a little streamy weemy, just a chatty watty about stuffy wuffy. I'll stop that now.
Yeah.
All right, man.
You know what I'm going to do real quick while you talk?
No.
I'm going to check something, because I
Okay.
bet that the thing has happened.
Oh, the thing.
The thing we've been waiting for
So
like a
we
day
just
and a
wanted to
half.
jump on here and chat about a couple of things that have been happening the last week. Did an interview with Ben Shapiro, which I think just went live. I know just went live.
About an hour ago.
I don't know, about an hour ago.
Yeah.
Let's see, how many views does it have? Because if we ever had views, this 13,000 views in 58 minutes. Could you imagine if we ever published something that did that well?
We had 11,000 unique viewers on the Calvin Robinson thing in like 3 hours.
Did we?
Yeah.
Take that, Ben Shapiro.
Anyway,
So we're going to talk about that. I want to talk about our time with Calvin, just because he's a really wonderful
I
fellow.
loved him so much.
I know.
Calvin, I know you're watching this.
And if this
And
makes
I
you
love
uncomfortable,
you.
I still don't care. What else are we going to talk about?
We did it.
Pride Month coming
Pride
up.
Month? Yep.
Get ready. Get ready to be force-fed rainbows
Not the
with
cool
only
ones.
6 colors.
Yeah. People have been very insistent that we notice that in the comments.
Yeah, it's very important to them.
Yeah.
As well as upset about our new shirts.
Yeah, people have been upset about that.
Yeah.
If somebody in the live chat who's Catholic, who's upset for a prude reason about the shirts, please tell us what it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna-
Well, where should we start? We should probably start with this Ben Shapiro interview. So here's how it went down. First of all, I'm super grateful to Ben and the Daily Wire for having me on for 20 minutes. I was told it would be a 7-minute interview, but it must have been going so well or so poorly, I don't know, that he allowed it to go for 20 minutes. All right, let's back up. So I had Prager on. Really glad I had Prager on now that I was so close to canceling him.
I don't think people knew that was a thing, that you almost canceled him.
Well, it's not like he would have been bothered. It's not like he would have lost sleep over it. I'm going to cancel you. Sorry, who is this Australian weirdo? Yeah, but it went well. He came on, and then Shapiro did a response, then Candace did a response, and then I did a response to Ben. And then instead of Ben doing a response to my response of his response to my response to his response to my response to his response to my response to his response, he decided to have me on the show. Now, I was in Ukraine at the time.
Well, you know, the reason is because if you do so many responses, the network forms a neural net, and the response itself becomes sentient, and then it starts responding to response.
That's terrific. Yeah, so I was in Ukraine at the time, and I forget who asked me. I guess his assistant, who's listening to Punch of the Aquinas, what's up? Reached out to my assistant and asked if I could be on the show. And I'm not going to lie, there was a sense of relief that I couldn't do it.
That's true. I can't confirm that, because you were like, they asked me, and I was like, that's great. And you went, I'm not going to do it. And I went, oh, and you were like, I'm kind of happy that I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, not out of any modesty. I think it was a prideful thing. I didn't want to look like an idiot, and I didn't want to do a poor job representing the church's teachings on lust and pornography. That was honestly, I was just like, you know what? I've seen people walk into situations like this, eyes wide open, and get shellacked. And then I wasn't sure, I got to say, I wasn't sure that Shapiro wasn't going to come after me hard, given how the Prager thing went down, and given that they're buds. I wasn't sure. And me intellectually sparring with Ben Shapiro would be like Thursday fighting Joe Rogan. It's just, or me for that matter. It's not going to happen. It's not going to go well for me. So that's why I was reluctant. And then I was flying out of Poland, and I just took that plane trip to really pray and discern, Lord, is this something I should do? So I decided yes, and then we set up the time. And, you know, it is so beautiful. I want to say a huge thanks to my local supporters, because they are way more integral to this show than they probably realize. First of all, they're the ones who told me to have Prager on when I was hesitating. And then when I was praying about whether to go on Shapiro's show, I asked them, you know, and then they asked them to pray for me. I don't know if you know this, but I don't know how many people on my locals decided they were going to do a 40-hour fast for my interview with Shapiro. if that's you, you are so kind, and I don't know how to respond to your generosity except with just dumbfounded embarrassment. Like, I feel so moved. So then I just went through all the debating talking points in my head, not knowing what side he would come down on. And I'm not really good in what do you say? Kind of adversarial situations. I'm not like Trent Horn, who's just a master. Why are you making that face?
I'm afraid these cables I'm trying to pull up so I have slack for this microphone are going to fall out.
So I woke up at 5:30 in the morning just going over talking points and trying to think through lust. It was really actually one of the great things that came out of this chat with Shapiro is it forced me to think a ton more than I have lately on pornography and sexual desire and lust and things like that. So yeah, woke up at 5:30, had a sauna, worked out, and then went and had a cigar to undo any of the working out I just did. And actually,
wait, what cigar were you smoking that there were calories to undo your workout?
Fair enough. I dip it totally in sugar before I.
Oh, so like a Swisher. You had a Swisher Sweet.
No, yeah, that's what a Swisher Sweet is. No, I would never.
A
do
banana?
That.
Do you have a banana flavored Swisher Sweet?
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh man, that's terrible. Speaking of Pride Month, I thought you were gonna laugh at that. I can never tell what you're gonna laugh at. That's what makes this so fun.
So the problem, and I think people could figure this out. I'm surprised you haven't yet. The problem is like I'm also producing, so sometimes I'm not listening.
So I'm sorry, Matt, that I'm not hanging on all of your incredible.
Like it's like I'm trying to listen to everything you're saying, but sometimes it's like, oh, I need to check this thing about the live stream that I'm running currently, and so then I miss the joke.
Yeah. Nah, gotcha.
Gotcha, mate. Yeah,
but
yeah,
I was sitting in the cigar lounge and I texted Sister Miriam James, who I call Mother Miriam because whether she wants to be or not, she's my spiritual mother. Mother, if you're watching, I love you. And we just prayed together. It was beautiful. And one thing she said to me was, she said, Matt, you don't need to perform. And my shoulders dropped. And I just received some peace from the Lord there. So I went to adoration, came back and did the interview. Now, what people might not realize, some people said that I looked awkward in the interview. I look awkward all the time, first of all, so that's my excuse. Don't nod. Secondly, we had a monitor on the table, and then I turned the monitor completely around.
Yeah, so I had it set up so he could see Ben, right?
Didn't want to.
But then he was worried that he wouldn't look into the camera.
That's right. No, it wasn't just that.
The result was that you made incredibly intense, very like autistic levels of eye contact the whole time. It was literally,
oh my gosh.
It was like 20 minutes of
autistic levels of eye contact. Dude, you need to start a shirt company, and whenever you say a great line like that, make a t-shirt.
That's great. Also, you could just never mind. Never mind. I'll tell you that later.
All right. Anyway, so the reason for the autistic levels of eye contact was I had turned the monitor around and was just looking into the camera. And so consequently, speaking of autism, because I think they say that one thing that might contribute to autism is like something goes on with our mirror neurons so that we can't respond, we can't empathize with somebody as we're talking to them, we can't sense their awkwardness or their jubilation, that kind of thing.
What I'm hearing is you're literally less human than a monkey.
That is not at all what I said, and not funny. Pay cut. Stop laughing. It's not funny. Damn it. So what did I say? I said, oh yeah, so I couldn't respond to his responses. So some people like at times, like when I made that Jewish Pharisee comment, apparently he kind of, like, do you remember? He kind of laughed a bit as he responded,
he was
but I didn't see him smirking, so I'm just deadpan talking about Pharisaical Jews. Oh.
It's such a good time.
Anyway.
Hey, by the way, if anybody's watching who is not subscribed, we are 205 subscribers away from 350,000.
Anyway, so it went okay. So go over to Shapiro's show, watch the interview, and comment on it. And no one is allowed to say autistic level of eye contact. Tag?
Yeah.
All right. No one's allowed to say that because that would be rude.
It's a joke. All right. I apologize to the people in the comments who are actually offended.
No, you don't.
I spent too much time on the internet as a teenager, and now I say things like that because the people who I normally talk to on the internet would have died.
You know, we have, there are things that you say over a beer that to say them publicly courts controversy. But if that same person was having a beer with you, they would give you the benefit of the doubt and realize that you obviously don't hate autistic people.
Yeah, no, it's never mind.
So anyway, good. I'm glad we got off into that tangent. Thanks for that.
I just made us, wow, you know? People are
Anyway,
now
so
super
Ben
chatting.
Shapiro, and that was terrific. And I think they were pretty happy with the show. They suggested we might do something longer in the future, maybe in person. So we'll see if that happens. So that was great. Next on the docket, I talked about Calvin Robinson's speech that he gave at Oxford Union. I did this about a month ago, and y'all said it was terrific. And I said, should I have him come in? And y'all said, uh-huh. So thanks to our local supporters, I was able to get him to come here. And it was wonderful having him, wasn't it?
He was so cool.
That was just terrific.
Very holy,
you talk
too.
about how cool he is.
He's so cool. He was very holy, too. Everybody who got upset about him being a heretic clearly is, I think that's the peak level of letter of the law over spirit of the law. Because while he is letter of the law, you know, probably engaged in some level of heresy. And I'm not going to lie about it. But to like act like he's not a holy person that we couldn't learn something from seems to be just ridiculous. And after getting to spend a lot of time with him, I would feel comfortable saying that he is wrestling with things that you and I could not, like you and I have to, like if anybody who has some level of sympathy should be sympathizing with those things. I think he's a very holy man who's trying very genuinely to do the Lord's will.
No, he was terrific. That meme I sent you this morning, that book meme.
Yeah, you sent it to me and Calvin.
Could you put it up on the screen soon?
Yeah, let me find it.
Yeah, because that was really funny. No, it was terrific to have him in, and I really wanted the episode to revolve around what we agreed on. Obviously, we could do a discussion about what we disagreed on, but I was trying to frame it around that line from Peter Kraft, when a maniac is at the door, feuding brothers reconcile. And so that's why we didn't spend a lot of time on our differences. Now, it was cool. I mean, after he went home, completely jet-lagged to the hotel here, my wife and I took him out for Mexican, and we chatted more. And then the next morning, him and I had a cigar for breakfast, and we chatted more about our differences and things like that there. And it was beautiful. But I emailed him before he came on the show, and I said, I just want you to know, like, I'm not going to corner you with a bunch of questions. That's not the point of this interview. And so I'm glad we stuck to that. I thought it was really fun. And then the next day, we did a bonus live stream, which people said was better than the first one. I think it's because we just didn't care. Also, it's because I got to know him a lot better. It's funny when you meet people for the first time and they sit across from you, you're kind of getting to know them as you interview them. But to go out to Mexican with him, to go get a cigar, I took him up on campus. We prayed in the Blessed Sacrament Chapel up on campus and things like that. Yeah, it's like once you get to know somebody, you just feel a lot more freer to chat. And so I think that's why it was so good. You got to tell. I'll tell the story about what happened, or should you tell the story about what happened when he left from the airport? Even though this was a private thing, I think it bespeaks his virtue.
Oh. Yeah. So I drive. I drive all the guests to and from the airport, permitting we don't have another interview conflict, and then I drive them around most of the week or most of the time that they're here. It's just part of the job. And I get to talk to him and interact with him and have, get to know him. But when I dropped Calvin off at the airport, I did the normal thing I do where I was like, hey, thanks for coming out. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Had a great time chatting with you. Yada, yada, yada. And then I go to shake his hand like I always do. And he goes, hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for, and he used the British word for driving me around that I don't know what it is.
Give me a lift.
Wheeling me around or something like that all week.
Whatever they say. Weirdos.
Whatever they said. And then he puts $50 in my hand. And then before I can object, he goes, no, that's for you. And he walks away.
What a guy. And it's not even like the English pound is double the US dollar as it once was.
Yeah.
God bless him. What a guy. So that was fantastic. So thank you, everybody who watched the show. If you haven't watched the show yet, it's an MP3. It's up on YouTube and stuff like that as well.
Here we go. I've got the
good
image. So Matt sent this picture.
This image sort of sums up how the comments section ran for certain Catholics, I think.
Oh, hold
Just
on.
fixating on the fact that he was not yet a Catholic.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Hold on.
Hold on, everybody. Hold your bloody horses.
The
Hold them.
Slack is lagging.
Hold them. Hey, this is a nice time to tell people that we just started a Discord server, and by we, I mean you.
Yeah, and I feel bad.
And Matt McCloskey.
Yeah, me and Matt McCloskey. I feel bad because right now I just opened it to make sure to give Matt a permission he needed.
Uh-oh.
And there are over 100 tickets open for verification.
What does that mean?
So this is the part we said we were going to... Oh, here we go. I got the image now.
Okay, here's the image. It's really, really funny. Read it out loud for me.
How to tell your friends they are technically heretics. A guide to dying alone.
That sort of sums up a lot of the comments I think we got on YouTube and Instagram. Where
you know what's really funny about this?
They couldn't join us. They couldn't join those faithful Anglicans who are fighting for what the church has always taught about sexuality. They had to go, technically.
You know what's really funny about
you're
this?
a bit of a jerk as well.
Did you notice this? Because Penguin Books has like the genre of whatever the classic they're publishing is.
Yeah.
And it says it's poetry.
Okay.
Which is hilarious to me.
All right. So anyway, that's funny. Now we have started a Discord server, and it's just for our local supporters. So you got to support us on locals to get access to this. But Thursday started explaining Discord to me before we went live, and I said, wait, why don't you do it on air? And he went, this is going to crash and burn.
So
sum it up really quick.
Basically,
technically
you're a heretic. So basically we have it set up to where before people can access the server, they have to open a ticket and send us a screenshot of the support tab from locals so that we can prove that you're a supporter so that the link can't just be sent around.
Who's affirming these things?
Who's affirming what things?
Like, who's clicking yes or whatever?
Right now? Me?
Good.
Matt?
I'm so glad. Not me, I hope.
No.
Because I would have just let anybody in if the options were confirmed.
So it's me, Matt, Kyle, Paul, and
thanks, Kyle
Haley.
And Paul. Wow. God bless them. Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
Anyway, Discord is, what is it? Some kind of place where people talk and stuff?
It's a chat app that allows you to have multiple rooms and voice chats and everything. So
I think we're going to set up a room where people can ask questions like orally, right? Vocally, so that we can then play them
we'll have
things like this.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
All
that
right,
is not at all what Matt and I heard you say.
So
we heard you say it would be like we'd have like a call-in thing where people could call in live.
All right.
Where we could rip off Catholic answers.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
All right. Hey, so I want to let people know that we have T-shirts for June month because you are about to be force-fed so many 6-colored rainbows you won't know what to do with yourself. And so since June is the month in which the Catholic Church offers special veneration and promotion of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, we wanted to create a T-shirt that promoted that. So let me know when you have one of these bad boys up on screen. They say, reclaim the month. They look really great.
It's to that side of you.
See it there? Do they see it?
Yeah.
Am I pointing at it?
Very large. No, your hand's behind it.
Oh. What about now?
Yeah, you're looking at it.
Wow, it's beautiful. So we have them in black ink and white ink on dark shirts and navy blue. We have a lot of different options. So click the link below and represent in the month of June. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So did you see the sort of stuff that they're pumping out through Target and everywhere else?
You made me look it up. And I'm having a hard time forgiving you.
I'm going to look it up as well. All right, so what should I type in? Target.
There's a Slack link.
Oh, okay. There it is. Pride Party Supplies and Decorations. All right, so just want to offer the usual caveats because I think it is important to do that. The church does not condemn people. The church condemns behaviors. Somebody with same-sex attraction or gender dysphoria is not somebody who is necessarily a sinner. They could be some awesome, brave saint, actually. It's when we choose to engage in sinful activities like allowing somebody to butcher our body or to participate in sodomitic acts or same-sex acts, or when heterosexual people like myself or others may choose to engage in sins such as self-abuse or pornography or adultery or what have you. These things are also sins. And in saying to somebody like masturbation is a sin, like I think I said on Shapiro show, at least pornography is a sin. I think I said that. to say that is not to condemn people who view pornography per se. Rather, it's a call for them to renounce this behavior that is beneath their dignity, that is actually degrading them, and to live a life of sexual purity in which they can actually be more free to be themselves, even though our culture is telling them the opposite. So none of this is in any way, shape, or form a condemnation on any of you beautiful people who have same-sex attraction or gender dysphoria. I know many folks, one guy in particular who I've mentioned just because I've had him on the show before is Dan Matson, who wrote that book, Why I Don't Call Myself Gay. That guy is a champ, and he's one of the manliest dudes I've ever met. He's solid and cheerful and good and virtuous. And whenever I talk to him, what are you smiling about?
I'm reading chat.
He's promoting, he's promoting chastity and veneration to, say, Saint Raphael, and just to me, he is exactly who he seems to be publicly. Like who he is publicly, he is privately. So praise God. And yet these are sins that are grave, that send souls to hell. And so we can't make bones about it. And nor can we, under any circumstances, engage in pride parades or any sort of celebration. Like if you're at a work and there's some sort of pride celebration, like you shouldn't be attending this. You shouldn't be celebrating sexual debauchery. That's what is being promoted in Pride Month. That sends souls to hell. That's what it is. And to say anything less is, I think, to sort of make a mockery of what the Christian faith teaches about human sexuality, sexual acts, and grave sins. So there you are. It's amazing how many people are going to be offended by that, though. Even Catholics. This bothers me tremendously. It's like Catholics have this idea that they just have to bend over and apologize continually rather than state what the church teaches. I think it was Edith Stein who said, where there is love, there is kindness, and where there is kindness, there is love, or something to that effect. In other words, if you have love without kindness, you don't have love. If you have kindness without love, you don't have kindness. So we do want to speak with charity and that sort of thing with folks, but we can't ever get away from saying what is the truth. All right, go on. Tell me why you're smiling.
Somebody in chat is volunteering to be my wife.
Okay. Another left turn. But I prefer that one to the autistic comment, I got to be honest.
I apologize for that. I really do.
No, screw you. There is no forgiveness. You're just going to have to be pushed to the fringes of society and poked repeatedly with a large stick named Nigel. I don't know why he's named Nigel, but he is. And there you are.
I am really sorry about that, guys.
Oh, yeah, good. Rainbow dinner plates.
Oh, you should click the pride family
Cheers
stuff.
queers. Like, this is revolting.
Look at the family stuff. That's what's on screen right now. They've got this shirt. Look at this. Look at this.
All right, I'm clicking it.
It's the yellow one that's in Spanish. It's in Spanish. It says, bien proud, which I think means very proud. I don't know. I speak American. So
Mucho proud. Good, proud, good? I don't know. Pride, good? Yeah, this is shameful. This is disgusting and shameful. And you should feel disgusted by it. I think that's another thing that we've been sort of brainwashed into thinking that, okay, like even if it's okay that technically as a Catholic, you're allowed to maybe disagree with this, yet you should find it beautiful. No, it's ugly. It's really ugly. And you should feel, I think, like tremendous love for the person that you're encountering, but if there's a dude dressed up like a woman, that should make you disgusted. And that disgust is, I think, called for. So I think we got to get more vocal about condemning this stuff. So I hope you like the t-shirts we put out, because that could be a nice counter to this. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Progress Pride Month. So what's the yellow? Is this a different one? I don't understand. I don't care to understand it, quite honestly. So many ways to be human is what one of the pins says. No, there's not. 2 ways, man and woman. That's it.
Where's the link to the Discord server? The link is on Locals currently. I will post it in the description, but if you are not a Locals subscriber, you will not be getting in.
If you want to do a better job at understanding the trans stuff, there would honestly be 2 things I would point you to. The first would be Matt Walsh's What is a Woman? That was an excellent documentary. The second would be my almost 3-hour chat with Jason Everett that was unbelievable. Honestly, that went way deeper than Matt Walsh's documentary. It wasn't meant to go it's so deep in that documentary, of course. But I would recommend watching those two things and you'll be set to jet. But we got to stop apologizing for denouncing sin. All right. That's all I got to say. We're very awkward at these little solo streams because we don't do them daily, nor do we have a team of 15 people in the next room. That is what happened when I went to Daily Wire. I was in Candace was doing her show and I went to the next room. There was literally 15 about that. I'd say maybe more. I didn't count them. 15 people in this dark room just figuring things out.
Sounds like a lot of overhead.
I don't that, or you need more people to work with you because this is maybe you're just that good. And yeah, 15 people. That did seem like a bit of overhead, but
hey, they also have a larger operation than us.
Hmm.
Don't they have moving cameras too in her studio? Isn't there like a camera on a dolly? Because one of her shots looked like a moving dolly shot.
So her studio is directly by the backstage studio. It's always weird when you see a studio in person after having seen it on screen.
Yeah.
It's usually smaller than you think it is. But yeah. All right, let's see. Any questions, any comments?
Yeah, we got some chats.
All right.
We got some chats. I'd buy a shirt. No, not reading that one.
Okay. Way to catch yourself.
Oh, this is the best. I haven't seen the interview yet, but I'm happy to hear about your success. Keep up the good work.
Cassie just said, I just watched the Ben Shapiro, and God bless you both. God bless you both.
Oh,
you were so well spoken and clear. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Should start a Pints with Aquinas brewery. How much would I have to give the fellas here to who are about to open this brewery to change it from what are they going to call
Ambrose?
it? Ambrose Brewing Company to Pints with Aquinas?
I don't think there's enough amount of money. Dave has worked so hard on that thing.
What about a Pints with Aquinas beer?
Oh, you could definitely. I mean, you wouldn't even have to. I think you could just. Yeah, he would do that in a heartbeat. Obviously.
This person gave us $10 for no reason except they're fabulous people. Yeah, Thursday is that good. Sometimes I'm blown away by how fast he finds stuff. I thought he was AI. Ooh, is this the same woman who wants to marry you?
What's her name?
I cannot pronounce that.
Oh, no, that's not the same woman.
Ejuma?
That's not the same woman.
Josiah said, Pints with Aquinas, have you heard about the Syro-Malabar Catholic Church? Yes, and I know everyone who's part of the Syro-Malabar Catholic Church is very proud to be part of that church. And I'm proud to have you as a brother or a sister. You said recently we aren't called to be nice, but we are called to be gentle and kind. What is the difference? I would say that niceness is indifferent to someone's sort of well-being, Like you can be nice to somebody as they go to hell. I think kindness is going to require a sort of gentleness with the person, but also it's going to involve truth. I would say that would be the difference. Whereas niceness doesn't have to involve truth. Kindness always does.
Oh, we got another chat.
Where did I put my phone?
Oh, I ate it. I got really hungry.
Wow. All right. That's cool. So I reckon there's 3 things that we can do this Pride Month. The first thing is we should pray. The second thing we should do is perform penance. And the third thing we should do is proselytize. And I'm going to explain those. First, we should pray. We could take this month that has been given to us by our woke secularist culture as an opportunity to pray for anybody who has same-sex attraction or who is engaged in same-sex relationships or who has had their body mutilated. Maybe their parents promoted it. Maybe they thought it was a good idea. Maybe they're struggling with a great deal of regret. There's a lot of amazing, brave folks right now, I've heard, especially on Reddit, who are regretting the fact that they were quote-unquote transitioned and are now speaking out about it. God bless those people. So we can pray for them. I mean, if you pray the rosary every night in your family or whatever you do, you could offer that rosary for everybody in the LGBTQ whatever, I was going to say community. Apparently it's not a community, but people who are struggling with these vices. That would be a beautiful thing. Especially if, like people like me, I have kids that tend to be really based for some reason, And I have to keep reminding them that we have to be gentle and loving and forgiving of people, and we shouldn't mock people for anything that they struggle with, just like we wouldn't want to be mocked for the sins that we struggle with. But that could be one way that you pray. Second thing we do is perform penance. Our Lady at Fatima talked about the importance of offering sacrifices for sinners. And so one of the things she told the little children, and here, let's see, I think I've got a little thing here. This comes from one of the apparitions of Our Lady. Quote, "Sacrifice yourselves for sinners and say many times, especially when you make a sacrifice, O Jesus, this is for love of thee, for the conversion of sinners, and in reparation for the sins committed against the Immaculate Heart of Mary." So this can be a month to not put sugar in your coffee and offer that as a sacrifice, to walk up the stairs instead of taking the elevator and offer that as a sacrifice. When the car breaks down or you get a flat tire or the baby's crying in the middle of the night or what have you, offer that as a sacrifice to people in our society who are struggling with these sins and are being brainwashed by leftist and sometimes rightist media. As people like Donald Trump, who would have no problem with trans issues for some part. I mean, he seems to draw the line, but I think honestly that has more to do with his base wanting to condemn it more than he does. But point is, this error comes from both the left and the right, and we as Catholics should denounce it wherever it comes from, pray for those who are struggling with these sins, offer penances. The third thing we should do is actually proselytize. Now, that word has gotten a dirty name of late, and it's probably because when it's used, people think of it in reference to tribalism or something. Like, we just want you part of our team, and it's not with interest for you or your well-being. But the word proselytization or to proselytize comes from a Greek word that means to bring over to one side. And I've said this, we've talked about this a lot on Pints with Aquinas. It started, I think, when Michael Knowles was on the show. How do we give people an off-ramp? If they're engaged in serious sin, if they feel like they're part of a community, how do we invite them to be part of a community that wants their good more than they do and that wants to celebrate them as God created them? And so that means proselytizing. So I think we absolutely should be proselytizing. And that means speaking out against Pride Month that doesn't have the well-being of people who are LGBTQ whatever in mind. And we should seek to argue convincingly and persuasively about sexual morality, I think. Any final thoughts on that? So prayer, penance, and proselytization. Or
no, I think those are all good ideas. Somebody asked a question, and I think they're trolling, but I want you to answer it anyway, because it's a decent question. What if someone, the question was phrased, what if someone isn't struggling, but they just are who they are?
Yeah, that's a really good question, right? Because, well, first of all, I want to talk about a different sin, which I do know is different, and the experience is different. All right, sometimes when people say, I struggle with pornography, they're using struggle as a synonym for give into or to allow. Like, I struggle with pornography, and you want to ask, do you actually struggle against that temptation? Or whenever it surfaces, do you just give into it? Because to struggle with pornography is actually a good thing, because the alternative is just to give in. If you are tempted to any sin, then struggling with it in one way or another is the way to go. And so I would say that someone with same-sex attraction may say to me, I don't struggle with same-sex attraction. I experience same-sex attraction and I don't engage. Okay, fine, that's beautiful. Beautiful in the sense that you're not engaging in those sins. But I would say that whenever a temptation rears itself, you have a few options. You can do nothing about it. You can indulge it. You can struggle against it. But even if you do nothing with it, I would say that's a form of struggle. It's a form of resisting by, say, offering it to the Lord. So I guess I'd want to know what they mean by it. I understand that people sometimes identify as a lesbian or gay or these sorts of things. I don't think you should do that, because if someone said to me, "Look, I'm gay," I would say, "No, I think who you are is a beloved son of God who experiences same-sex attraction." And I might say, I am a beloved son of God who struggles with X or struggles with Y. I've said it before. There is not an either or here. It's funny that Target and these other places who are saying there are many ways to be human seem to be saying, like, we're all in this together, but actually it's them who are making the divide. Christians say we're all sons and daughters of God, and all of us experience temptation to sin, and temptation to sin that is sexual in nature. And it doesn't make you special. It doesn't make you, you might have a temptation that I don't have, and so you might be growing in a virtue that I don't, because I may not struggle with a particular sin. But yeah, we're all in this together. There's no them and us. It's just us.
Yeah, I also think that if you're not struggling and you have a sinful inclination and you're not struggling with it, then you are that itself is a sin, because you're you're allowing your conscience to be malformed.
What do you mean? So let's say I struggle with same-sex attraction and then I don't really...
You just don't care. You just are, you know what I mean? And you're not... Sorry, the question seemed to be... If you're not engaging in it, that would seem to me to be the definition of struggling against it, because you're moving against your inclination, right? Because you're struggling against it, like we're all called to do.
Yeah, I mean, what I really should probably do is have someone with same-sex attraction on the show so that they could explain this much better than I am. Or if you're someone who has same-sex attraction and you're a Catholic, you could help me out here. Don't pretend to be able to explain this perfectly. If the question is something like, okay, are you saying that I need to be struggling at all times because I have this thing? I understand the objection there. And that's why I would appreciate if somebody decided to say, I don't struggle with same-sex attraction, I experience it. Fair enough. Okay, that's cool. But I guess what I would say is, when a temptation makes itself evident to you or I, when it forces itself upon us, as it were, and I know what that's like, Thursday know what that's like because we're human, and you know what that's like, at that point, what do? I think that the two options we have is to give into or to struggle. And you might say, well, why not wait it out and not have this violent language of struggle? And I would say, well, there are different ways to struggle, and to wait it out is a way of struggling against it. I want to let people know too that Hallow just put my 10-hour sleep story, not sleep story, that would be a really long story, my 10-hour sleep song on their app. So hallow.com/Matt, if you go over there right now and sign up, you'll get 3 months for free. You can try it out, hallow.com/Matt. But you can go to Catholic Lo-Fi as well. We just uploaded recently a 10-hour sleep song, so I think you'd really like that. Check it out. I love it. I actually listened to it the other night. I was having trouble going to sleep, and I listened to my own sleep song. It was great.
We got... I muted myself? We got more chats if you want to look at them.
Sorry to cut you off there, but real quick, Catholicism, I think someone once accidentally blocked him, and then we were too lazy to unblock him.
And the second part is 100% the case.
Okay. Well, I didn't block him. Someone must have.
No, yeah, not the accidentally. I just was like, I don't want to go through all the blocks.
Oh, yeah. So I was in the back end the other day, and I happened upon those people that we had blocked, and then he was there. I'm like, oh, unblocked. So that was easy. So it's great to have you back. I bet this guy, as he's texting, is texting really gently. He doesn't want to accidentally make fun of autistic people or something, so as to be blocked.
I apologize, okay? It just came out.
I'll tell you this. Brett Cooper will be getting a video of this.
Do it.
She's autistic, actually.
Okay.
She's not really, and I'm just joking.
You're assuming that I'm not.
No, I'm not. Do you struggle with... Okay, let's change the subject quickly. I dislike the language that says, that's not very Catholic Christian of you. How to navigate. Am I right in my disapproval? Yeah, I guess I'd need to know the context. Like, if I said to you, I refuse to pray to Mary, and you said, that's not very Catholic of you, that seems completely appropriate.
Haley was trolling a troll, and somebody called her a
troll.
Somebody said she was not being very Christian. Somebody complained about the way she was moderating, and she said, I will refer your complaint to HR. They will be back to you in 6 to 8 weeks.
This fella, might be Irish, says, if I'm Methodist and my wife is Catholic, should we raise the kids as Catholic or Methodist? 100% Catholic. And in fact, your wife, who is Catholic, has a duty to raise them Catholic.
Yep.
Let's see. Andrew says, I'm a youth worker with my parish, and I just bought Matt's book. Looking forward to bringing some of the material along with JP2 to our students. Not sure what book you mean. I presume it's The Porn Myth, so that's awesome. This fella says, much love, Matt, Maronite Catholic from South Africa. Lovely to have you. Thank you for being here.
Somebody in the comments said you should embrace your sexuality and live a joyful life. And you shouldn't be like us miserable people.
Who, us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
this seems to be a misunderstanding
false dilemma.
of what
we
joy
could be
is.
Miserable people. and it could also be wrong to embrace sin.
Yeah. And it also seems to be a false understanding of what joy is. Joy is only found in the Lord. The Lord is only found in virtue.
Another t-shirt idea. Man, so many comments.
We have supers too.
Do we? Go for it, yeah.
Somebody, Investment Joy, gave us $20 and said, I'll get out on the super chats. We appreciate that.
That's so kind. You guys should save your super chats and just go buy a Sacred Heart shirt.
Honestly,
I feel so guilty when they do this because our responses are so pathetic compared to their generosity.
We're so bad at this. Have you tried the new Belgium Voodoo Ranger Juice Force IPA? If so, what are your thoughts?
I haven't. Have you?
No, I don't drink IPAs. IPAs have the highest level of phytoestrogen of any beer. And so this confirms my worldview about people who drink IPAs and what they're like. Because they literally act like estrogen in your body. So
wow.
The woman's beer. Somebody donated. That was John Mott who asked that. Oh, John, I'm sorry. I love you, John. That was John. Yes. John, I'm sorry. I actually know John. I am on one today. It's bad.
Anyone else you want to insult?
Yeah, but I won't. You asked if I wanted to, not if I would.
I got to see where Ben Shapiro's thing is at right now. What was it last time? 10,000 views when
13,
we last looked?
13.
Let's see. Click in that.
Somebody asked if you would do a Divine Mercy lo-fi for views. June.
Oh, that's a lovely idea.
That was eat some seaweed. All right.
Okay, but how would we do that? Because my first thought was to have the Sacred Heart of Jesus gently pulsating with the crown of thorns and the flames going. But would that be weird?
No, that'd be cool.
Okay. I'm trying to find negative comments under my video with Shapiro to read.
Carlo Mango TV, thank you for the super chat. That question is really weird and makes me a little uncomfortable, so I'm not going to ask it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll ask it if you want to. It just makes me uncomfortable.
Well, where is it? Maybe I can see if it's worth...
It's in the super chat tab. Like if you go to the live streaming tab of the back end.
This person says, Chris says, getting a shirt. Please work on a bike accident shirt ASAP. That is funny.
That would be really funny. You should have somebody draw you like getting...
Nailed,
yeah.
Matt, it's been said that Jeffrey... Oh, is this the thing?
Yeah.
Matt, it's been said that Jeffrey Dahmer converted to Christianity before he died. Church of Christ, though, do you think he's saved? I don't have an opinion on this. I think that people who aren't Catholic can be saved, though I think it's God's will that all Christians be Catholic and all people be Catholic. But we're actually told explicitly by the church not to make judgments on the eternal state of people's souls, so we can just pray for him. Okay, Chris says, Matt, it was an honor meeting you at the wedding this weekend. I got my med school offer from EVMS, and our ultrasound showed a happy, healthy baby. Praise be to God. Indeed. Yeah, it was nice to meet you too, Chris. Thank you so much. It is so wild now that these live streams get over 1,000 people viewing.
Oh, that's a great idea.
What?
Somebody said we should make a shirt with the guy in the painting that you take pictures with all the guests with.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the painting you're referring to, but sure.
That'd be really funny.
It would be.
We should. And then refuse to explain it.
Exactly.
Yep.
I wonder though, I mean, how would we do that? We would have to do an AI. Could we do an AI generated version of that?
Of
that person?
Of that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it.
And then but then would it be copyrighted?
Probably not. We could talk to the graphic design guy we used to.
All right, we'll look into it.
Somebody asked if Jordan Peterson is ever coming on the show.
So, all right, bit of inside baseball here. All right.
Yeah.
We had Jordan Peterson come into town about a year ago, and I was able to secure $20,000 to get him on the show. Isn't that redonkulous? Through the help of people.
Yeah.
They said, here's 20 grand. Let's get him on the show. So I reached out to his people and never heard back. So that's the boring story. But I think that when you're Jordan Peterson...
Trying to get my thumbs in the shot.
Having somebody offer you $20,000 to be on the show is like somebody offering you $5.50 to come on the show. You're like, I mean, no, thank you though. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. So no, there's no plans on having you on the show. When are we at 450,000? So everybody, Thursday,
350,000?
yeah. He slacked me the other day on Friday and said we're almost at 350,000.
We're going to do it today. We're at 349,834. It's
So
going to
hey,
happen
subscribe.
today.
If you're watching right now and you haven't subscribed, click subscribe.
Please click subscribe.
Click
it
the
would
bell
make
button.
Matt and I feel very good.
When am I getting you that plaque?
Oh, yeah. Also,
What was the...
so I joined it when we had just under 300,000.
Yeah.
So Matt has agreed that when we get to 400,000 subscribers, Matt will buy me a YouTube 100,000 plaque because you
I
can
will.
buy extras of your
And they're
plaque.
not cheap, are they?
I have no idea.
I'm happy to get you one. I'm excited.
But when we get to 400,000 subscribers, I get a plaque. So Thursday wants a plaque really bad. It will make...
Thursday wants a plaque really bad, really bad. And then you should start your own podcast and just have it in the background and just scratch out Pints with Aquinas.
put it in the background of my streaming setup at home.
Okay, so I want to respond to this. MB says, when Jordan Peterson comes on your show, will you grill him or let him talk nonsense like many other people did? First of all, I'm not sure I would agree with your assessment that Jordan Peterson talks nonsense. I think he has a lot of insightful things to say. But I think we should respect where people are on their journey. I think we have a much shorter attention span in this internet age than is warranted for someone to go through a full-on conversion. It's like we hear about somebody on YouTube and we're like, oh, wow, this person has great things to say. And then 3 months later, we give up on them because why aren't they Catholic yet? And fair enough, if your desire is for him to become Catholic because you want what's best for him, I think that's great. But, I mean, can you imagine how many people are just trying to bring him over to their side just so they can say that we own him? That's going to be a weird situation as well. That's why I didn't kind of appreciate what people were saying when when Ben interviewed me, like that I should somehow use that 20-minute interview as a way to awkwardly insert a call for him to become Christian.
But you also kind of did, but not in like a upfront
Abrasive,
have you met the Lord
weird
Jesus
way.
Christ?
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Like
Where
that's
you
what
were,
it sounds
you
like.
literally you call like you were talking about Pharisaical whitewashed tombs. I don't know if that made it in. By the way, Matt and I haven't watched all the way through what was published, but when Matt interviewed him, when during the interview, Matt brought up the Jesus calling the Pharisees whitewashed tombs and was talking about how Christ's call to us is one to not just be like not just have a beautiful exterior, but also a beautiful interior in the virtuous
right.
life.
And he's like, well, as a
Pharisaical
Jew. Yeah. Yeah, it was good to have him on. It was good. I'm honored. It was really kind of him to not just have me on his show, but to let me speak.
Somebody asked, Amy asked, do you have any advice or recommendations for someone curious about Catholicism?
Yeah, I would recommend Trent Horn's book, Why We're Catholic, as a starting point. He has another book on Catholicism with Ignatius Press that's more scholarly, I would say. But his book, Why We're Catholic, is a very nice introduction to people who are investigating the claims of the Catholic Church. I'm pretty sure he has it on Audible as well. That'd probably be the first place I would point people to. Honestly, I think his book, Why We're Catholic, is the new Rome Sweet Home. Because Rome Sweet Home is excellent and it's responsible for bringing many people into the Catholic Church.
Me, actually.
Really?
Well, inadvertently, my parents read it.
Wow.
Well, my dad read it, and that's part of the reason he decided to become Catholic.
That book was anointed, yeah.
Yeah, and so I became Catholic when my dad did.
But so Trent said to me before he wrote this book, he's like, what book would you recommend to somebody who just wants an overview of Catholicism, why they should be Catholic? And I said Rome Sweet Home, which is fair enough if you're coming from like a Protestant, maybe a fundamentalist background, like a sola scriptura background. I'm not saying that's the same as fundamentalist, but I couldn't think of anything else. So that's why he wrote that book, so it could kind of fill that gap. It's a great book.
Somebody in chat just said that Ben announced the birth of his newest baby.
Praise the Lord.
So that's great.
That's wonderful.
We did know that was happening today.
Yeah.
So we're happy to hear
well, here's
that
another thing that was really cool.
Well.
Is his assistant said to me that Monday his wife would be being induced, which is today, and that they thought that the conversation went so well, they made it his podcast for the day, which I was so honored by. So they put it up as the MP3 today. Every day he has a podcast. Well, today he didn't have one, so they just uploaded that. So what an honor. I'm so grateful for that, and I pray that it does good, despite my inadequacies, that it would help people come to a deeper understanding of good Christian sexual morality. We need that in the conservative movement desperately, I think.
We have two things real quick. We have a super chat with no note from Bruce
Signata.
We appreciate your donation.
Thank you.
And then Josiah Jacob asked, How do you evangelize your friends, especially if you don't see them often because of distance or whatever? I have a thought on this. Do you have a thought?
You go for it.
I think that if you have friends you don't see often, you should focus on the ones you do.
Yeah.
I think you should focus on the people in your immediate community that you interact with daily.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that other people you don't see daily are not important. It's just that you have an obligation mainly to the people around you.
Yeah. The other thing is trying to evangelize someone at a distance could get awkward because I think the one thing you don't want people to feel like when you're evangelizing is that...
You lean back forward a bit for me.
Oh, like here?
Yep.
Is that they're a project and you're trying to kind of work on them or fix something about them. You don't want to do that. And you certainly don't want to... it can get awkward. And I think all you got to do to understand what I mean is to put the shoe on the other foot. If you had a friend who was Protestant and they stayed in touch with you primarily to evangelize you, and whenever you spoke, that's all they were interested in talking about, you would feel like a project. So I think we want to take a holistic interest in the people that we're engaging with, whether they're here or abroad. But I think Thursday's right. I think it is a much more human experience to engage with people in our community than to have some chat with somebody on the internet, even if it is a friend, although I'm not discounting that or saying you shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. I think that's what I'd say.
Sorry, I'm looking for chats and questions.
No need to be sorry. Let's just embrace the silence.
I know we need to be more comfortable with it.
I am interviewing Mother Natalia and Father Michael O'Loughlin this week.
Yeah, I'm shifting. So this week will be Mother Natalia and Father Michael O'Loughlin. We've already had that episode recorded. It's pre-recorded. You're leaving tomorrow?
I leave on Friday, actually.
Oh, Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that interview will be coming out tomorrow. And then next week we will be having an interview with Dr. Matthew Bruninger and his friend whose name escapes me, who run a therapy or like group counseling.
Yeah, I don't know what the kind of program they put together with, but Matt Bruninger and another therapist. So we're going to have that coming up.
And so we'll have that interview coming out on next Tuesday. We've also already interviewed both of them. They were great episodes.
They were lovely.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to get that is to subscribe. That's not the only way, but we'd like you to subscribe so we feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, subscribe so you don't miss them. Best way to talk to a coworker, Dylan.
Lock the door behind them as they walk into the lunchroom.
Cannot endorse that strategy. Dylan gave $5 and said,
best way to talk to a coworker about Catholicism. My one coworker loves God and I would like to inform her about the church. How to bring it up? Well, since your coworker loves God, that must mean that she has shown you in some way that she loved God. Otherwise, you wouldn't know it. And maybe you know that because of things she reads or conversations she's had with other people or conversations she's had with you. So I would just allow her to talk about that. Ask her why she loves God. Ask her questions. Do you think this God has revealed himself? And I think, and not in a kind of condescending kind of way, but just like a gentle approach way. All right, I think we should go now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. It really does mean a great deal. A couple of things before you go. Number one, please leave a comment under Ben Shapiro's episode of Me and Him today and share it with friends and on social media so that it reaches more people. Second, we have an excellent Sacred Heart of Jesus t-shirt that says Reclaim the Month. They are very beautiful shirts, I think. So click a link and please buy a t-shirt today to get ready for Pride Month. And thirdly, subscribe and like.
Sorry, before you go,
we have so many things to say.
Just asked a great question.
All right, let me say one more thing and then you can ask it if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then, please support us on Locals. I know it might sound like I'm playing the victim in saying that I don't know how long we'll be on YouTube. Like I'm trying to drum up support by saying that. And that might be part of what I'm doing. But I also think it is a real possibility that we'll get banned in the near future. Or if not a real possibility, at least we'll have our money taken away or something like that. And so one way you could help us is by following us on Locals. You don't even have to support us on Locals if you don't want to. We do post free content there frequently. So you might think of Locals as a different form of social media like Twitter or Facebook. You have to sign up to their platform to engage with people on that platform. There are things that we put up that are just for our local supporters, like this Discord server and other things that we do. But even if you just start following us over there, that will ensure that if we do one day get banned by YouTube, we would start posting all of these videos. Instead of on YouTube, we would post them to Locals. And I'm friendly with people who are the heads of Locals. And these guys are really, really, really serious about free speech. I've even sent them some of my more provocative videos. And even if they don't agree with them, they would say things like, hey, that was really well said. And so I'm a big fan of Locals. And if you're not over there, mattfradd.locals.com, please sign up, follow us over there. Most weekdays, I do a bonus podcast. It's a chill, laid-back coffee chat that I have with my local supporters, and you actually don't have to be paying money to watch those chats either. So there's things that you get that I think you'll appreciate even without supporting us financially. So mattfradd.locals.com, mattfradd.locals.com. If you do currently give to me on Patreon, I'm really grateful, and we try hard to post things over there as well. But I would invite you to cancel over there and to support us on Locals instead. Locals is a great free speech platform. It's way better than Patreon, frankly. Lorenzo, what a guy. Thanks,
we
man.
Appreciate it.
He says, thank you, Matt. Oh, did you? Sorry.
I want to ask.
Sorry. Let me. I was saying real quick.
Yeah.
You are an inspiration in many aspects. Thank you. Keep up the good job. Greetings from the old world, Sicily, Italy. Bless you, brother. Thank you kindly. All right. Sorry. What was your?
Catholicism asked if you could pick 3 non-living and uncanonized people who died within the last 100 years to interview.
See, that means I need to look up when C.S. Lewis died.
He died. Yeah, you're good.
All right. So, C.S. Lewis. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, my gosh, of course. C.S. Lewis, obviously Tolkien, and probably Chesterton.
Yeah, I was going to say those were the 3 I was thinking
Wouldn't
of.
you think?
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else.
How amazing would that be? Imagine if we could bring him back from the dead and put him around this table. That video would get even more than Shapiro's video is currently getting, I'd say.
Yeah, we'd be world famous. I mean, that's what it's all about.
It is what I'm going for, personally.
Fulton Sheen's another good pick, but
Fulton Sheen, yeah.
Fulton Sheen's another good pick. Yeah, there are a lot of good ones.
Hitler?
I mean, technically that counts. That's in. You could, if you wanted to, pick him.
Hey, Hitler. So, few questions. Also, did you see my episode with Ben Shapiro? Thoughts?
I saw. Okay. We should go.
We should go and then continue this discussion. All right. God bless everyone. Thanks so much for being here.